The new fire suppression rating schedule is all about efficiency. So is your fire apparatus where it needs to be? To determine credit for a deployment analysis, all graded areas will receive a road mile distribution study, with engine companies receiving 1.5 road mile distribution and full ladder or service companies receiving 2.5 road mile distribution. If NFPA 1710 data is available, it will be considered as well. Let's take a look at an example of how the credit for deployment analysis is calculated. Notice at the top of the table, on the top 3 rows, the road mile distribution study data is entered. At the bottom of the table, there is no data for NFPA 1710. Therefore, in the calculations, the 15.46% road mile credit for the first due engine is used in the calculations, while the 18.51% road mile data for the full complement is used in the calculations. Notice here also that 60% of the credit will come from the engine company side of the house, while 40% of the credit will come from the service company side. I also want you to take a look at what's happening on the ladder and service company side of this equation. Notice that no ladder companies are being considered. One service company is being considered. There are no engine ladder companies being considered, and there was one engine service company being considered in this calculation. But wait a minute, didn't we say that only full ladder and service companies could be considered in the calculations? Yes, we did. But if you recall, we said that only full companies could be used in determining the number of road miles. Let's take a look at how we ended up with one full service company and one engine service company at this point in the calculations. In another area of our worksheets, we do an analysis of the different service company response areas. In the case of this grading, when the road mile data is entered, we see that there was only one service company location. Therefore, the 16.4 road miles around that station represent a standard response district. When we divide that by 2, we get 8.2. This represents the threshold for determining whether another station would require an additional service company. Notice that station 2 had 11.3 road miles within 2.5 of its station. Since it did not house a service company, one is needed at that location. Therefore, the engine housed in that station is considered an engine service company. Finally, I want you to notice that based on the data provided in this grading, only 1.37 points were earned as credit for deployment analysis. Let's take a look now at how things might have been different if NFPA 1710 data had been provided. Notice that percentage of structural alarms meeting NFPA 1710 standards for arrival of the first due engine company in this example is 90%. The percentage of alarms receiving second due engine company and a ladder or service companies was also 90%. Look at the effect that that had on the overall credit. 8.62 compared to 1.37. A tremendous change. Notice also that contributing to this is the fact that only one service company is required. That's right. If you meet the NFPA standard for arrival of the full complement, that is the service company and the second due engine, then additional service company locations are not needed. Let's take a look now at what we need to remember from this presentation. First, all engine company locations are used in the road mile distribution study, while only stations housing full ladder or service companies are used. Engine locations account for up to 60% of the credit, and ladder or service company locations account for up to 40%. Stations housing engines only may also need a ladder or service company based on the road mile distribution study. The engine in that station would then be classified as an engine ladder or an engine service company. Finally, NFPA 1710 data may be used to calculate credits in lieu of road miles. As always, should you have any questions or concern regarding this presentation or any other product provided by PIAL, please do not hesitate to call. Thank you for listening and have a great day.